Unlocking your natural frequency of abundance. Part 1. The hidden frequency of abundance. What if abundance is not something you have to chase, earn, or create, but something your nervous system has learned to filter out? From the earliest years of life, we absorb messages about money, safety, success, and what we believe we deserve. These experiences can quietly shape our subconscious expectations. Over time, they form patterns that influence how we perceive opportunities, relationships, and even our own potential. You may consciously desire abundance, while another part of your nervous system remains attached to familiarity and limitation. This creates an internal conflict. One part of you reaches forward, while another pulls you back toward what feels safe and predictable. The breakthrough begins when you recognize that abundance may not require becoming someone new. It may require removing the internal patterns that prevent you from recognizing what is already possible. Part 2. Childhood programming and the scarcity pattern. During childhood, the brain is highly receptive to its environment. Experiences, emotions, and repeated messages can become deeply embedded patterns that influence behavior later in life. If a child repeatedly experiences fear around money, instability, rejection, or limitation, the nervous system may begin associating expansion with danger and scarcity with safety. These patterns can continue into adulthood without conscious awareness. You might receive an opportunity and immediately doubt yourself. You might experience success and suddenly feel uncomfortable. You might want more yet unconsciously return to familiar habits. This does not mean you are broken or incapable of abundance. It means your nervous system may be protecting an old definition of safety. Changing this pattern requires more than positive thinking. It requires teaching the body that expansion, receiving, and possibility can also be safe. Part 3. The Schumann resonance and brainwave states. One fascinating concept connected to this discussion is the Earth's natural electromagnetic resonance, commonly known as the Schumann resonance, with a fundamental frequency around 7.83 Hz. This frequency falls near the boundary between commonly described theta and alpha brainwave ranges, states associated with relaxation, imagination, and increased internal awareness. Rather than treating this as proof that the Earth directly creates abundance, we can view it as an intriguing model for understanding rhythm, resonance, and synchronization. When the nervous system becomes calmer and more coherent, mental resistance can decrease. The brain becomes less focused on immediate threats and more capable of noticing possibilities. In this relaxed state, creativity, reflection, and emotional flexibility can increase. The deeper lesson is that abundance may begin with a shift in the internal state from constant protection toward greater openness and receptivity. Part 4. The heart, coherence, and the body abundance is not simply a thought. It is also an experience within the body. When we feel safe, grateful, connected, or deeply present, our breathing and heart rhythms can become more regulated. This state of physiological coherence can influence the way the brain and nervous system process information. Instead of remaining trapped in constant anticipation of danger, the body begins receiving signals of safety. This matters because the nervous system determines what we notice and what we ignore. When you are overwhelmed by fear, your attention naturally searches for problems. But when your system becomes more regulated, you may become more capable of seeing opportunities, connections, and possibilities that were previously overlooked. The shift toward abundance therefore begins not only with changing your thoughts, but with changing the state from which those thoughts emerge. Part 5. Why abundance can feel uncomfortable. One of the most surprising parts of transformation is that greater abundance does not always feel immediately comfortable. If your nervous system has become accustomed to struggle, uncertainty, or limitation, sudden expansion can feel unfamiliar. And unfamiliar does not always mean safe. This can create what feels like an internal thermostat. Whenever life moves beyond your familiar emotional or behavioral range, the nervous system may attempt to restore the previous baseline. You might procrastinate after an opportunity appears. You might question your ability after achieving success. You might create unnecessary problems when everything begins going well. These reactions do not necessarily mean you secretly want failure. They may simply reflect an old nervous system prediction. This is unfamiliar, so it could be dangerous. The goal is not to force yourself into positivity. The goal is to gradually teach your body that greater possibility can exist without triggering fear. Part 6. Somatic awareness and rewiring the pattern. Real transformation requires more than repeating affirmations. The nervous system